Emily Gosinger, office manager extraordinaire today. She is the absolute pulse of the amazing Elderwerks, keeping track of everything and keeping everybody on track, and always appreciated that she is so cool and calm as a cucumber there. I don't know how she does it. This is a reminder that the event is being recorded and will be live streaming the presentation. If you'd like to see this again, please visit Elderwerks YouTube channel or Facebook page. Before we begin, I'd like to share a brief overview of Elderwerks' amazing services and benefits. They are a not-for-profit organization, a 501c3 organization, and their mission is to help older adults, seniors, and families with senior living, coordination, advocacy, and education. Their advisors, they are truly passionate. I know them all, and they're truly passionate about what they do. They're experts in senior housing, care, and local resources. They are referred to as senior guidance advisors and so knowledgeable. Make them your first call to assist with questions on aging, resources, and senior housing needs. Personally, I've referred many people to them. They've vetted so many home care and nursing homes that, why go with what a neighbor suggests with just one opinion or to the yellow pages, but call Elderwerks first because they are absolutely amazing. Upcoming events. Click on Elderwerks website for directory pickup parties or receptions, I call them. They're taking place at various locations. You can pick up the brand new and exciting Elderwerks resource directory. My firm is hosting one here. They'll be in several places, and you can pick up a directory at Elderwerks offices in their Palatine headquarters during business hours or other locations that are hosting receptions. So call to reserve your copy and RSVP so that the hosts are able to plan. Elderwerks is also celebrating their 10th anniversary with a grand celebration at their Palatine headquarters. That's on July 12th from 11 to 2 p.m. RSVP in advance is needed for your free lunch. There will be a food truck in the parking lot at Elderwerks, and it should be a fun time. I'll be there, and I hope to meet you. If you spot me, because you can see me on the screen here, if you spot me and you attended this seminar, please say hello, because it's always fun to meet people that you talk to. And now let's hear from Emily. Maybe she'll say something cool about me.
Thanks, Carol. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming today. Carol Brandt is the founder and president of Brandt Financial Concepts, and they are a local and independent firm located here in downtown Palatine. And they're actually about to celebrate their 40th year, so very exciting. Carol and her team have been loyal supporters of Elderwerks since we opened our office here in Palatine in 2019. And since that time, Carol has become a very valued resource and contributor to our resource directory. And she is also our first diamond sponsor for our expo this year, which will be in Hoffman Estates on August 9th. So all seniors, older adults of all ages are welcome to attend our expo. It's at Stonegate Conference Center this year. And Carol's also helping us to plan the expo. She's on our expo planning committee as well. So we definitely appreciate all her help and support of everything we do, including especially the directory and the expo. So the focus of Carol's business, she does quite a few different things. She has Medicare supplement, education, and enrollment. She does long-term care planning, personal insurance, financial services, and employee benefits. So today she will be wearing her certified long-term care professional hat, and she will be leading us in an important conversation on long-term care basics and the reasons that we plan. So this is one of Carol's favorite topics in her Table Talk series. So we will go ahead and turn it over to Carol. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you so much. So on our first slide here, I hope everyone can see that, long-term care basics. Going to touch a little bit about lifespan and health span, understanding the differences and how to plan financially as we age. The building you see on the slide there is our historic office building in downtown Palatine, and that's where we see our clients, where we'll be hosting our directory distribution reception as well. So lifespan versus health span. People say that lifespan can be defined as how long we'll live, but I've always been concerned about health span. That's that period of time spent in good health and pretty much free from chronic illness and the disabilities of aging. So we could live to 100. The babies born today, I understand there's no way to even tell how long a child is going to live with the medical advances in technology. So if we live to 100, but 50 of those are spent not feeling well, affected by chronic illness, we need to plan for that because we just don't know. There's things we can do to help stave it off, but we need to prepare. So some say health span is more important than lifespan, and I tend to agree with that. Regarding health span, what can we do better? What could we do better so that I think we all have maybe little things that we do to keep us feeling good, but what can we do better? Experts say, and nutritionists, we can cut back on the foods that contribute to poor health and memory problems. Stuff with vegetable oils, trans fats, whole carbs. I'm watching carbs right now. Fried and processed foods. I eat a little too much processed food. I happen to like the savory smoked hams and bacons and things like that as my protein. Artificial sweeteners, not so good. Excessive alcohol and so much more. And we need to get moving. Exercise, incorporating physical activities is really key. Flexibility, like if you're flexible, if you're a rubber band and can bend and twist and stretch and get up from on the floor position to standing up without using your arms. I mean, that's huge. And these can be key to living a life free of poor health. So flexibility, huge. Stretch. Just a little thing I do. Went to a chiropractor a number of years ago, and I had this neck thing going on. So I did this stretch of my neck. And so the next morning I do it sitting at the bed. And then I started doing other stretches. Well, before I leave the bedroom, I do about 15-20 minutes of stretching every day. And I can practically put my leg in back of my head. Not because I'm so amazing, but because I've done it for so many years, and flexibility isn't, it's just a good thing. So stretch, if you do that, you can commit to stretching before you leave your bed. Just think how your day would start then. And then, then throughout the day. What else can we do? See our medical care provider, see your dermatologist, your gynecologist, for males, have your exams, have your PSA, stay current on your immunizations, whatever that means to you. And socializing, so very important. I know people have lost loved ones. There are people that live alone. There are people that aren't real social in the community, but it staves off feelings of loneliness. It helps sharpen our memory, cognitive skills, and it makes us happier and gives us a sense of well-being. And many believe that it helps us live longer. So in person is best, but connecting via technology, with our phones and attending meetings like this and being with other people, very important. It has been brought to my attention by one of the advisors at Elderwerks that there is a lot of confusion about exactly what is long-term care. Here we're talking about it today to clarify that. And so I've made a new piece for this. Some actually confuse it with healthcare. And I heard this from a senior advisor saying some people think we're referring to healthcare when we talk about long-term care. Other people think it refers to medical insurance, and others think it refers to only a nursing home. But actually, extended care, it's not a policy, it's not medical care, and it's not a place. It's the personal care or supervision that we might need as we age and need it for an extended period of time. We generally associate this with aging, but honestly, extended care could be needed at any time due to accident, illness, or the effects of aging. So I hope that clarifies things. And when we talk about extended, and I've added the word extended on there, which I've learned in my long-term care, many years of studies, that referring to extended care kind of says, oh, that it's not the doctor. Extended / long-term care. So if you use it in those terms, if you're sharing this with other people, as you talk with the family, if I need extended care, what's the plan? That's how we're going to talk about it in terms of extended care. So that's good. It is a myth that everyone must have a long-term care insurance policy. I don't like people being scared and told that, it's not a law, it's not a rule, it's personal. The fact is everybody simply needs a written plan of care. You can't just think about something and have it happen. We don't just think about having a will or a trust or powers of attorney. We actually have a piece of paper that makes it happen. So we simply need a plan of care. It might involve insurance, but it's not a rule or a law, and it's not anything that's going to be shoved at you. It's just, we're talking about planning here today. But what are the odds? What are the odds? Well, the odds of a home burning down are 3 in 100. Our chances of totaling a car at some point in our lives is 18 of 100. That's bad. On average, 72 of 100 people will be needing some type of care after age 65. So that's a lot. That's a lot. And then lastly, less than 7% of adults over 50 have done any planning. And you see the image of the ones to the left, how happy they are that they did. I love these images, and I hope you can see them on the screen you're on and that you enjoy them too. But we like these contemporary images that portray things we're talking about. I'm a visual person, so I like to see more than words. What is the cost of care? Well, this isn't outdated. This is just in June of 22. Genworth comes out with their study from the prior 2 years, from the prior year, and in June of 23 they'll come out with a new one. But here we have the Chicago market and nationally, so you can kind of see homemaker services, home health aid, and it depends on number of hours, adult day, 1-bedroom assisted living facility, and again, this is Chicago an average, but you know, if you're in Lake Forest or Barrington versus Southern Illinois, things are going to be different. Private room in a nursing home, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000. I don't know. I heard, you know, I have clients in Luther Village, and they were talking $140,000 a couple of years ago for memory care. So these numbers are these numbers are from Genworth's comprehensive study, but we all know people that pay less, and we know people that pay more. So this is not to scare you. We're trying to plan here today, and we're just kind of being aware of what costs can be. Who pays for this? Doesn't medical insurance cover the cost of extended long-term care? I'd say about half of the people that come in to see me for their When I'm 64 meeting, because we do a lot of Medicare supplement planning. I like to visit with people 6 months before their birthday so that they get enrolled in Medicare on time and can take a look at the options. But this is something that a half of the people think, doesn't Medicare and medical insurance and the supplement cover this? And it's a common misconception that some will be paid, but the truth is we need to cover much of this ourselves. We're not going to read this whole chart here, but in the top left under Medicare, we do have the first 100 days possibly covered by Medicare when we need the keyword skilled care. Skilled care is defined as that which is provided by a medical or trained professional. That could be that knee or hip replacement when we're coming out of the hospital and going into rehab. What are we going to get in rehab? We're going to have some skilled physical therapist helping us get back together again. So when the time comes where skilled care is not needed, then we're talking the common types of care, more custodial and personal care. So you can see across the board there, from private Medigap, which is Medicare supplement insurance, under Medicaid, does not pay. We get to Medicaid. There are elder law attorneys affiliated with Elderwerks as resources, very valuable resources, and they are very skilled and specialized and have law degrees in Medicaid planning. So I'm not going to touch on that much. Just if you need help in that area, Medicaid planning for you or family member, see Elderwerks and think about using one of their people. Like I'm a resource, they have many resources for elder law. So we're pretty much paying on our own for that extended long-term care. So how does planning ahead of time help with this? So just like anything else before a crisis, it's, Elderwerks gets a lot of calls, so do I, of people in crisis where things happen, that stroke, that car accident, that, oh my gosh, she was fine a few months ago and now this woman is full-blown Alzheimer's. So planning before a crisis is important because then we have time to make decisions and get educated. But basically having extended long-term care coverage, the idea is in the middle there, creating a pool of funds. So we have this pool of funds that's designated for this care. In the dark green, that could be anyone from the left, home care, assisted living care, care coordination services, which is very important. Elderwerks does some of that. The insurance companies have people that do that, but coordinating your care, especially for someone who's alone, is very, very important. And then in the dark green at the bottom, nursing care facility. But also we have plans that go beyond that. The light green, yard and home maintenance, travel and transportation, medical expenses and prescriptions that maybe go beyond our drug plan, home modification, all kinds of things. Even care, paying for the transportation of someone else maybe to come and visit us. How do we do that? Well, it's done by accumulating that pool of money with certain types of plans that are out there. So just this at a glance, we're really going to not look at too much on this slide, but the different ways to pay for long-term care. We have traditional long-term care insurance, helps protect our assets, and it's more like a homeowners or auto insurance policy. We pay a premium and we receive the benefits when we need it. There's also now hybrid life and long-term care plans, small life insurance policies with riders on them that make them expand and give us more benefits when we qualify for long-term care. And we'll talk about that. Then there's life insurance with a larger benefit that can have riders on it that let us use the benefits, so you don't have to be deceased in order to yourself tap the benefits of that. So kind of a Swiss Army knife approach. If you live or die or walk away, you've got cash to walk away with. If you live, you can tap it for long-term care. If you pass away, the family gets the funds. Familiar with life insurance concept. And then there's fixed and indexed annuities that do a number of things and can even take IRA money now that was formerly not allowed. So those tend to be for, not always, but sometimes older adults with more health issues. We can easier get into some of those plans. And again, qualified money means money coming out of an IRA or retirement plan. Non-qualified is just regular savings or CDs. So moving on from here, how are benefits paid when we have insurance? Well, there's a couple of different ways, actually three. Reimbursement versus indemnity. And that sounds very confusing just all by itself, but reimbursement. This is where only the actual long-term care expenses are reimbursed. We're talking about having a long-term care insurance policy, and it has its particular style is to help us with funds via reimbursement. So with a reimbursement policy, only the actual long-term care expenses are eligible. Bills and receipts are going to be required, and the use of licensed providers, licensed home care agencies, and licensed facilities is required. We probably want to stay in a licensed facility, but there's such a thing as having a neighbor or friend or spouse help out. And in the case of having a reimbursement type contract, you would not be able to get money out of those contracts to pay unlicensed informal caregivers or family members or friends. There's benefit limitations, non-qualifying services. So anything that is not specifically stated in the policy, like that transportation, gardening, paying a spouse, or informal caregiver would not be covered. That doesn't mean it's a bad policy. It's just that a reimbursement policy is that produce the receipts, show me that they came from a viable source. If you have a friend or a neighbor or spouse that's caring for you, they don't have a company. They can't produce a receipt in order to be reimbursed from the plan. Think about it like that. Indemnity. Indemnity is where the full monthly benefit is paid to us, to the policy owner. Some of the insurance companies do not require monthly proof of billed services. So we qualify for the benefit and it's $5,000 or $6,000 or whatever it may be. We get that check. Licensed providers might be required. It depends on the contract. And excess benefits or funds that are not needed can actually be used for any purpose. So let's say we got that $6,000 check and we only needed $4,000. We could put the other $2,000 aside for rolling over to the next month or to pay for that lawn care or house cleaning, things like that. But a cash indemnity plan, and we don't mean cash under the table or illegal funds. This is just cash in the form of a check or a transfer. That's where the full monthly long-term care benefit is paid to the policyholder. No bills or receipts are required to receive the full monthly benefit. And we can get care from a spouse, a family member, other informal caregiver, and that's okay. They don't need a receipt. They don't need to be licensed. It has to be just somebody, not has to be, should be somebody that we trust and is taking good care of us. There's no restrictions on how that benefit can be used. So it can be used for any purpose. We talked about transportation, the yard work, Could be cooking, it could be even spent on someone else, like bringing someone from another city or state to us to help us or visit with us or go on a trip with us. So we're gonna take a little closer look at traditional long-term care. So this is now that first one, traditional long-term care insurance policy. Yes.
Question coming. Do you want to say that for later?
Oh, I hear a question came in. Yes, I'll be happy to answer that.
What is involved in your Medicare supplement planning discussion by Tamara?
Oh, what is involved?
Mm-hmm.
Sitting down, having a complimentary, no cost visit, cup of coffee, visit our office, have a snack, get a gift. Basically talking about the timing on enrolling in Medicare, and then if you'd like us to, we shop out traditional Medicare supplement plans, take a look at what's available and find something that's best for your budget, and help with the application process. And you'd become our client at that point, and there is no charge for our service. We are paid by the insurance company that we might, if the business was Blue Cross or Mutual or whomever, they do pay us, but the client does not. So I hope I've answered that adequately. Okay. So sorry if there was a delay with that. I just got the flag that was a question. So answer traditional long-term care insurance. So this is that first one. Okay. How insurance works is, well, when the need for care arises, we first kind of turn to family members, call Elderwerks. And when the need goes beyond, and I know you all know families that have gone through this, where the family members, are taking turns and they're getting into, who's going to do what. But when the needs go beyond their ability to help, whether it's physically or financially, that's where an extended or long-term care insurance plan can help. So this type of care insurance, it allows us to get the help that we need in whatever setting that's right. And here's our images of being cared for and helped at home. And that's where we'd like to be first. So again, at home, most people prefer to remain at home as long as possible, unless for social reasons, they'd like to be somewhere else. So an extended care, long-term care policy, it gives us the benefits that we need to get the care and services we need in the comfort of our own home. And oftentimes that is inclusive of handicap ramps and making the bathroom accessible and things like that are built into many of these policies, and funds are available for that, as well as the care coordinator. In a care facility, when more care is needed than we can be provided at home, an extended care policy also, it covers the cost of assisted living, nursing home, or other types of care. So how do we become eligible? So now we've got a policy, now what? Well, we're eligible to receive benefits from our plan if we're chronically ill and a licensed healthcare professional needs to provide a plan of care, prescribing the services that we need. And to qualify, the triggers they're called, we must need help in at least 2 of the 6 activities of daily living. They're also referred to as ADLs in the industry, medical industry, in my industry, ADLs. And those ADLs are, we need help in 2 of them: transferring, toileting, continence, bathing, dressing, and eating. If you think about it, just getting up in the morning before we even leave the bedroom, we need to be able to transfer and get out of bed, get to the bathroom, hopefully we've been continent, take a shower, bathe, dress, and then that's when we leave the bedroom. So it's not too difficult if you've got some sort of chronic disabling illness to be very dependent in someone or something else to help with those activities. So, and that's for 90 days or more. So that's the criteria of qualifying for most insurance, is to need this assistance for 90 days or more. We're also eligible to receive policy benefits if we might not be dependent in those 2 ADLs, but if we needed continual supervision due to severe cognitive impairment. So that's important to know. Some of the older policies in the beginning didn't cover that, and that's way back in the 80s maybe. So then policies have a waiting period in general, and I'm saying everything in general here. I am independent and I represent a lot of different companies, and so I'm being general here because everything we do is custom and it's based upon the person and their age and their needs. So I'm being very general here. in general, once we become eligible for benefits, the policy elimination period begins, and that's that waiting period before we get anything. Call that a deductible. If this were a homeowners or auto insurance policy, it would be that first $500 or $1,000. But in this case, it's days, it's 90 days. So the elimination period, it generally starts on the first day we're deemed to be chronically ill and we receive a covered service. So some plans do have 0 waiting periods. There are some circumstances. So that's why I like to talk in generalities here. One-on-one, it's a different story, but today we have a mixed audience of people and needs, and there's so many different plans out there and concepts that I'm being very general, but I want you to have a clear understanding of what the options are. So a licensed agency or a facility is where the benefit dollars are going up to the maximum daily or monthly benefit we have selected, and it could be for life. And I'll do this one last bullet point here, and then I think we have a question. And then just lastly, as long as we remain eligible, the benefits for the covered services are paid until our policy limit, that pool of dollars, remember that first earlier slide with the pool of money, until that pool of dollars is reached. Maybe it's life, maybe it's 6 years, 3 years, or whatever. And a question.
We have 3 attendees asking the same one. The PowerPoint's so full of wonderful information. Would they be able to get a copy emailed out to them?
If you email me, we will get that to you. It's a big file, so we had to get a little strategic today and get this up here in my Zoom room, which is the second floor of our recording studio here. But yes, if you ask me, if you email me, you'll have my information at the end of this. Please email us, and we can then send it to you. Absolutely happy to do that. And that was a question from 3 people. Okay, so that was traditional long-term care insurance we just talked about. Waiting period, benefits paid out as long as the pool of dollars lasts. Now we're going to talk about life insurance with an accelerated living or accelerated benefit rider. Just real general. Should we have a combination use for some life insurance and a desire for extended care? A plan could be customized to include a pool of dollars that pays upon death, but that also we can use day one. So this is kind of pretty amazing. This is a Swiss Army knife approach. Have some people bought this that didn't need life insurance? Yes. Some people don't have life insurance once they leave their places of employment, and they hadn't bought any personal life insurance through their days. And then they see something like this and they go, oh yeah, well, it wouldn't be bad. Leave something to the grandkids or our kids. And then I also have this for myself. So it depends. It's all custom, and it's all your choice. These plans have living benefit features, and they now include extended or long-term care or chronic illness riders. They're called different things with different plans. So along with benefits for terminal illness. So when people with that have these life insurance plans are terminally ill and they have 6 or 12 months to live, we can tap some of that death benefit early for our care and comfort and whatever expenses we might have before passing away. Yes, that does reduce the death benefit, but we can tap it early, and that's a really good thing. So we can now actually access a percentage of some or all of the death benefit when certified that we need assistance in 2 of the activities of daily living. So we've got the life insurance policy here with a death benefit that goes to the survivors, tax-free benefit to beneficiaries, but also can come to us on a monthly or annual basis when we need assistance in those activities of daily living. You're seeing a common thread here. The common trigger for traditional long-term care as well as the life insurance is that 2 of 6 activities of daily living. So we get in the door the same way. The death benefit and the pool of dollars can grow over time depending upon the plan, whether it's fixed or whether it's a variable one. And benefits are paid out tax-free, either via, you saw the other page, reimbursement with receipts, indemnity, possibly with receipts, or cash with no receipts required. So there we go there. Here's now a look at life insurance with living benefits. It might look something like this. Let's start out with the small one here. This is Michelle, age 50, decided to do some planning for $342 per month. She can have a life insurance policy with a built-in or optional rider that provides a monthly pool of dollars if she becomes chronically ill. So, and then the band in the middle, there's the life insurance policy. On the left, at death, the beneficiaries for that amount would receive $300,000 tax-free day one. Or day one, she'd have access to tapping that for 4% of the 300,000 for a tax-free long-term care benefit of up to $12,000 per month if she becomes chronically ill. So, is this unaffordable for some people? Maybe, but I want you to see that the early planning, and okay, let's say she's 60 or 70, those numbers, that 342 does get larger, but it's possible. It's going to the store with the amount of dollars you have in the pocket. Pardon me?
How'd you do without your phone?
I muted.
Sorry,
You're good.
is that for me?
No, I think someone accidentally unmuted, so.
Okay, all right. So just to not go through this too quickly, life insurance plan can be payable monthly. It could be payable over 10 years. It could be payable lump sum. But monthly basis is available. We've got the life insurance policy that pays at death, that accumulates equity. So in the event you walk away, you can walk away with something. In the event of death, there's a death benefit and a 4% chronic illness rider. 3 times 4, so 300,000 times 4 equals the $12,000, and then that grows over time. So there's that look. Then there's a life with long-term care asset-based hybrid. So just another name and another way of doing it. This is with a smaller death benefit and a different type of benefit. So here's Tom. This is a real thing. Tom is the real deal. Tom, age 65, had $100,000 and is only had about 165,000, but he had $100,000 in his Roth that he was willing to move over because he wanted to do some planning. His particular mate is uninsurable, but he thought he should do something for himself. So he repositioned $100,000 out of his Roth that gave him an immediate $163,000, $817 death benefit. That death benefit plus a continuation of benefits rider gave him an unlimited lifetime long-term care benefit of what's in the blue at the bottom, $6,553 a month or $78,632 a year. It's cash. He can do with it whatever he wants once he meets the triggers, the 2 of 6 activities of daily living. What are we looking at here? This is just another way to do it. You saw the traditional long-term care. You saw the larger life insurance policy with the rider. This is now a hybrid. This is $100,000 that could come from a CD, a Roth, your personal savings, whatever, repositioned over here. I'm getting a question.
Mary Ellen asks, will you be covering what options clients who don't have long-term care insurance have?
Well, we're talking about things available for people that don't have long-term care insurance. Might you be asking about Medicaid? This is not a Medicaid discussion. Talk to me offline. We can pursue that a little bit further, but we're talking about now, this is all for people that don't have long-term care. And if you're asking about what resources people have who need care and don't have a plan, that would be, let's coordinate with Elderwerks and perhaps one of Elderwerks elder law attorneys on that. If it's funds of your own that you have, if you've saved on your own and you're using your own funds, that would be something we could talk about as ways to budget, so to speak, or allocate that money for care. But please talk to me offline if I have not answered your question there. So back to the hybrid, single deposit, it could be paid over 5 years or 10 years. There's other ways to do this as well. But smaller face amount, 163,000. So if Tom dies and never uses his care, his spouse is going to get that 163,000. But if he needs care, that this $100,000 is going to give him, it sounds crazy, sounds too good to be true, but $78,000 a year on an unlimited basis. That's how far that will go. It's just actuarially, that's how it works. Another hybrid link benefit might look something like this. This is a single female and age 60. She's got $100,000 CD coming due. lives alone. So that current asset of 100,000, if she grows it at 3% by age 88, when she might need some care, it's up to 228,793 with tax on the growth. But what if she repositioned it into a hybrid long-term care plan? She would get an immediate long-term care benefit of $375,077 at age 88 with a 3% inflation rider. This is guaranteed. It will grow to $858,150. That can come out as a monthly stream of income to pay for her care, not income, but a monthly stream to pay for her care, and there's no tax on this. So, greatest thing since sliced bread. These plans are amazing. There really is something for everyone out there. So, not to go through it too quickly. Someone that has a rainy day fund or CD money better sit and grow at 3% and be worth double at age 88, or reposition it over into a hybrid plan that has a death benefit, that has refund if somebody wants to bail out, death benefit, and by age 88, $858,000 to draw on for care for the rest of the person's life. These all say at the bottom, these are numeric examples. They are based upon the age, but they're hypothetical. They're for explanatory purposes only. So if you'd like to see something for yourself, happy to run something for you. But these are real numbers. But for you and your budget and your health history, that's a conversation. I don't just dabble in this. I am certified in long-term care, and I do this. This is how I spend my days. So I am securities licensed. I am long-term care certified. I am able to talk about all these different types of things, and I have to be life insurance licensed as well. So you can't be talking to somebody that just dabbles in this and doesn't have all the components or licensing or accreditations in order to quote all the different things. Then you're just limiting yourself. So looking at now a long-term care annuity funded plan. So now we're going into the annuity funded plan using IRA funds. Okay, an annuity funded plan for a couple could look something like this. Jim and Carol, age 60 and 61, took a partial withdrawal from one of their IRA accounts. And because it's coming out of an IRA, this is kind of something new. The insurance company gives them a bonus to cover the taxes, because that's going to be, they're taking an IRA withdrawal. So they actually took out the 150, but ended up with 180 as their base, because the insurance company gave them a $30,000 bonus. This is all in print. It's all perfectly legal and moral and legitimate. The bonus is now 25%. The rising interest rates and inflation have changed that, but this is an actual case that was done through my office. 2 clients that came in before the end of the year. January 1st, the bump on this became 25%. But anyway, that 180,000 base spins off $18,000 a year to pay a premium on a long-term care plan with a life insurance plan with a long-term care rider, and immediate death benefit for each of them of $176,000, a lifetime long-term care benefit of $5,288 a month for each of them for the rest of their lives. So that $150,000 went a long way. That's over $60,000 a year per person lifetime. Yikes. I mean, it impresses me every time I talk about it. So, okay, this is IRA rollover. Money that was maybe not even being used. Maybe living on a pension or in Social Security, and you don't even need your IRA and you haven't done any planning. Well, this is for some people that can spare that out of their account. Just repositioning it. An annuity funded life insurance plan for a single person might look like this. Here's Mary, age 70. She took $88,241 from her IRA rollover. She's not spending her RMDs, and she's living off of a pension and Social Security. So she moved $88,000 from her IRA, and she got a 25% bump of $22,000, which put $110,000 there, which spins off $11,000 a year, the premium for 10 years to pay for her life and long-term care plan. Now, Mary was an interesting case. She is one of few people I've run into that had a work site long-term care plan. She worked for a big company in the days when Hartford had work site group long-term care. We're seeing a resurgence in that. This is what she had. So this is going to pay the premium for 10 years for her. This is all kind of done internally behind the scenes. All she does is reposition the 88,000, and then the other steps fall into place. It only gives her a $74,495 death benefit, which she questioned, but it's actuarial. The older you are, the lesser the death benefit is. The younger you are, the larger it is. So in this case, she put in 88, but family would only get back 74, less anything that was spent on long-term care. Same triggers, 2 of 6 activities of daily living to qualify for this. Same as all the other slides. Anyway, that $88,000 is giving her, because she already has $6,000 a month in her group long-term care plan. So she wanted to supplement. So this is giving her another $3,000 a month to supplement the plan that she has for life. So that $88,000 is going a long way. That's $36,000 a year. And all she spent was $88,000. And she's going to get that $3,000 per month for the rest of her life if needed. Looks like we have another question coming in.
Got a question from Peggy. How do you vet the company issuing the life insurance with LTC policy? Can they go broke? If so, what happens to your plan?
Okay. Personally, I have never done business with anyone that wasn't A or better rated and had good financials and strong and stable in the industry. John Hancock, for example, was the kingpin of long-term care. They did not change the rates for 25 years on an existing block of business, and they were just the best. They didn't go out of business, but they got out of the long-term care business, and another administrative firm took over. I don't think I know of any long-term care carrier that has ever gone out of business. But when, even during the Great Depression, when companies got in trouble, the larger ones bought them up. Hartford got out of the life insurance business, for example, and the group long-term care, and Prudential bought their life division. So these are giants in the industry. So we're talking about companies like Prudential, Pacific Life, Mutual of Omaha, A+ rated companies that have been around for 100 years. So I hope that answers your question. I am shown things daily from companies coming out with guaranteed issue. You can already be in a nursing home, was what somebody advertised at a webinar we sat in on. And these companies have, in the tank toilet ratings. And I'm not going to refer anybody to do business with companies like that. So I hope that answers your question. We do business with solid companies. They have a reputation in the business, and not these newbies that are just coming out, and new plans are coming out all the time, but we don't want to be doing business with brand new companies. So hope that addressed that for you. Industry update. So we looked at traditional long-term care, we looked at life with long-term care rider, and we looked at some hybrids. So and then just to go back 1 second, I've had somebody tell someone else that, life insurance or long-term care is just exorbitantly priced at $6,000 a month premium, and I could never afford it. So they didn't even want to talk. Long-term care insurance costs are whatever you can afford. Why? Because just like going to the store with so many dollars in your purse or pocket wallet, you get as much benefit as you can buy, as your money buys. So whatever fits your budget is what it'll be. So it doesn't have to take food off the table. It's just we fit it into the budget. So don't let anyone scare you with the cost. So long-term care news, what's going on? Extended long-term care planning interest has increased dramatically since the pandemic. I have to say personally, I have never gotten more inquiries from 40 and 50-year-olds than I did during and after the pandemic, because they were seeing what was going on with parents, grandparents, and other loved ones and people in the community. So people are becoming aware. I have more younger clients than before that. So adults as young as 40 are starting to include planning in their overall financial plans, plus advisors of some of these people that have plowed through their fortunes because they were not shown long-term care plans are being sued by their the children of these adults because their inheritance is gone. And it's something that needs to be part of every discussion. And if it's not been part of the discussion, then is your financial planner really planning for you, or are they just focusing on their assets? So anyway, we try to cover all the bases, and so people have choices. So new long-term care insurance premiums, because they were not stable in the past, they did increase. The insurance companies and the actuaries in the first wave of policies that came out in the 80s and 90s, they anticipated that not that people wouldn't use their policies, but they actually thought they wouldn't keep them. I don't know, my clients, once they bought them, they weren't about to cancel them. Everybody kept their plans. I don't have anyone that canceled their plan, not one person in all the years I've been working with long-term care. So new long-term care insurance premiums should be more rate stable than in the past. The companies have learned from their mistakes. They mispriced them drastically. And the stuff that's out there now, a lot of the things I've shown you in the examples, they're guaranteed. They're guaranteed. 41 states now have strict pricing and rate adjustment regulations in place for new policies. So they've got to justify this. It can't just be for profit. So that, along with don't hold off on doing planning, because a voluntary worksite plan might come to your employer, but we're seeing they're seeing a resurgence in the voluntary worksite plans now, which is kind of nice. Like this woman that was able to come in and just buy at age 70 a $3,000 plan by just repositioning $88,000. Had she not signed up for that plan at work, there'd been a big gap there, big gap. So what else? More long-term care legislation. You see, Illinois is considering long-term care funding legislation. We have it in California, or excuse me, Washington. You probably heard about the Washington CARES Act. This is done with a payroll tax on working people, and it's got all kinds of strings to it. You've got to be in it for so many years. You might even pay into it for a number of years, and then you can't even collect. And then people are saying, well, like, why should I pay? I'm in the workforce, but the people that are collecting on it don't have to pay. So I think it's going to be a while. So and then even then it's only a small benefit, but it's going to be a tax on payroll tax that everybody would be forced to pay. And how do you get around that? Is that if you have your own plan, you can opt out. So people that, it's a good idea. Illinois is one of the states, so it's a good idea to have that if you're a working person. So new plans are emerging. There are carrier price reductions. We're seeing that because more people are buying coverage and the pricing is appropriate now. So the growing consumer awareness, the growth in the worksite plans, that's all good stuff. Because as we saw, a very small percentage of people have done planning. How do we pay for this? I'm getting the clock here, 12 minutes. All right. How do we pay for this? Well, rainy day fund. If you have it put aside, your investments, you've seen we can pay on a monthly basis. We can also, this is big, this is huge. You can exchange an older life insurance policy, refinance it. We do it with mortgages all the time. Refinance an older life insurance policy that might even be available at a lower price per thousand, even though you're older, and can have these riders on it. So this is a big thing. It doesn't hurt to have it checked. We do policy reviews all the time, and people are surprised that sometimes they can pay off a new plan with the equity in an old plan and not even have premiums anymore. Sometimes there's family gifting where you've got parents or grandparents that are going to give you something or have given you something. Think about using that, not to ask early for the inheritance, but this is a family thing. This is a long-term care. It's a family matter. Could be your RMDs. A lot of people don't need their RMDs because they've got pensions. The lucky ones have pensions and Social Security. And if you don't need your RMDs, you could be paying for long-term care on a monthly basis. And then you saw that we were able to reposition IRA assets on a couple of those examples, reposition all or part. In a nutshell, if you were a family member, have questions about long-term care, I suggest, doesn't have to be me, but a CLTC designated, one certified in long-term care can help. The value of working with a planner that's certified in long-term care is we've been educated more thoroughly on the specifics. We're up to date on the complexities of long-term care, insurance, and retirement planning. And I personally am very passionate about helping people prepare as we age. I really love doing this and talking about it. So what's up with that afterwards is, number one, just understand you're learning today. You're understanding the need and the risk, but it's based upon personal experiences. Personal experiences influence greatly, like what happened in your family when Aunt Mary needed help, or your neighbor. So these personal things leave a mark on us. Do our best to improve our health span. That's very, very important. We don't have to be in a nursing home. We don't have to end up needing care. Get flexible. I spend my 2 minutes brushing my teeth doing backward leg lifts. Tightens the butt. Do something with the 2 minutes while you brush your teeth. You can do this. Be aware of the consequences of living a long life if we're disabled, and to do something about it. Develop a plan. It is a family issue. There's a risk to family if there's no strategy. Nobody plans on failing. We just don't, it just happens. We fail to plan. So explore the funding options, the payment options, see what works, develop a plan, and then do it, implement that strategy, whether it's extended long-term care insurance, if it's self-funding and you've got a big pot of money there yourself. But I have to tell you, even the wealthy find value in the fact that these benefits can be repositioned and come out tax-free. You can't do that with your personal savings. We can turn this around where the money that you were going to pay for your care could be coming out tax-free. And I don't know anyone who wouldn't prefer to use tax-free funds than taxable. Or perhaps there's a family caregiving plan where somebody has agreed to, to care for another family member as part of their life planning. So questions? You may call me. You can ask your questions now as time permits. You may call me for a complimentary 60-minute consultation. That could be via Zoom or just on the phone. Get a long-term care planning worksheet and kind of work through the concepts. There's my email there for those of you that wanted these slides. In many times a personal conversation, you'll spend a half hour or so on the phone, answer these questions. You can read these slides till the cows come home, but it doesn't mean anything to you unless we do something, show you something personal that's it's got your age and your health situation. By the way, nobody gets declined on my watch. I pre-screen everything anonymously, so we know if we've got a green light before we go in. I don't put anybody through any application process just for the sake of pushing paper. And I hope anybody that you would talk to on your end would do the same, because we don't want to be getting declined when a pre-screening process is to find out if we're eligible or not is really the best way to go. So any further questions?
We have not received any further.